Hello, greetings to everybody, and greetings to you, John. I'm very glad to finally talk with you for this interview. How are you doing?
Doing really well. I know we've had some trouble trying to get all of the technology going and the logistics of the scheduling, so I'm excited to finally be on this.
Yeah. Okay, for everybody on this show, I'm hosting Dr. John Rusin here in Slovenia for his beautiful seminar course called Pain-Free Performance Training System on the last weekend of September. That is on the 29th and 30th of September. Dr. Rusin is the guy who operates one of the most respected knowledge sources about training and rehab. So if you don't know about his blog, visit it. It's very valuable information you have there. It's drjohnrusin.com. So visit his webpage. As you know, probably he's a very interesting professional who is as far as possible from a dogmatic from a dogmatic person. That's why I invited him to host his seminar here in Slovenia. He's a very eclectic and knowledgeable person by his approach, and I think that what is interesting about you, John, is that you're training people to become resistant beasts, and at the same time you can take care for their pain and injuries. It's kind of rare type of knowledge that you have, I think, and that's why we wanna see and listen to your course here. And we can start with this. Tell us a bit about what you trained, who you trained, and about your practical background and experiences and your studies. So go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I trained my first athlete 12 years ago, and in that time, I've really come full circle, not only in the education realm, but also in high performance strength and conditioning. I've had all-world Ironman athletes in the triathlon. We've had multiple gold medalist Olympians, professional athletes from 9 of the major American sports, and really everyone in between. And it seems like in the last 3 to 4 years, I've really found my true niche, which is pain-free performance training. And this is not only for barbell sport athletes, but just for general fitness public that wants to be healthier. They want to live a better lifestyle, and they want to live a life not in pain. So I think that's where I've transitioned to over the last couple of years. And this has been the system that I'm going to be coming out to teach in Slovenia in September, is how to actually keep your athletes and keep your clients healthy and progressing towards their goals. Because one of the biggest problems that I see across the world in the fitness industry right now is that either people are training for performance or they're training to be healthy. They're not doing both simultaneously. So this system will show you how to get results while staying healthy and resilient for the long run.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I think is the future in our business. So as I'm trying to understand your approach, I'm reading you for about 2 years now, or even more, I think. So as I'm trying to understand you, you're a guy who is basically trying to bridge both worlds of rehab and performance. Is this correct?
That's definitely correct. Yeah. But it's a misconception that I work in the world of rehab or traditionalist physical therapy, because I truly don't. I do have a doctorate in physical therapy, but 99.9% of my work is through injury prevention. It's through performance training, because I really do think that our biggest opportunity is, as fitness professionals, is to help prevent injuries before they ever happen. Help prevent chronic base wear and tear before it ever happens, because not a whole lot good is happening if you have severe injuries. It's a long road back. So our biggest opportunity to really push the industry forward to get better results with our clients is to make sure those injuries never happen in the first place.
Yeah.
So yes, I do have a background in rehab, but I like to say, prehab, or try to be preventing the otherwise preventable injuries that we not only see in the gym, but in life or on the field or court. So really, that's where the power is, being able to screen people, to assess your clients, be able to program correctly for them in order to gain longevity with them, gain consistency so they can stay healthy long enough to achieve any goal that they're after.
Well, so if I understand you right, so you basically started your career as a strength coach. Is this correct? With your father, I was listening to a few of your podcasts. Is this correct? In a university, when you were observing other coaches and things like that?
Yeah, so I started my career 12 years ago as a strength and conditioning coach. So I was working with high school athletes. And then quickly, I continued on my education in exercise science. I was actually playing collegiate baseball at the Division I level here in America. And after that, I moved into the college sector. So I started into college strength and conditioning. Mm-hmm. And then after about a year of that, I continued on at the university and just stayed in and started getting more classes and worked towards a degree in physical therapy. But one of my claim to fame is I've never actually worked as a traditional physical therapist, even though I went to almost 4 years of a doctorate level education to get this degree. But I think all the stuff that I learned in physical therapy school, I was able to translate into performance training, and I never stopped coaching, which was a big advantage. So every single semester that I was continuing in graduate school, I was still coaching at the collegiate and high school sectors. And very quickly after I graduated, I was able to transition into more of like this hybrid coach. And very quickly I got great opportunities to work with some NFL football players, Major League Baseball players here in America, and then a handful of other high-end sports, because really the name of the game in professional sport is keep your athletes healthy. If you can keep your athlete healthy, if you can keep them on the field, then they can compete and they can be, the freaks of nature that everyone wants out of their high-end professional athletes. So, doing that for a number of years really just changed my outlook on, why we're training and why we should be training for longevity, why we should be training for consistency, and not everything is always about performance. Sometimes just staying healthy and feeling good enough, that's the thing that gets us to the optimal performance, as opposed to always just trying to chase it. So really, when I look at my goals for training any type of client or any type of athletes, my number one goal is to keep them resilient, keep them bulletproofed against pain and injuries. If we can do that, then I see performance coming secondarily, and I see it more consistent and more sustainable at that point.
What would you say a typical strength coach can gain most out of your course? So what are these these ideas that you lay upon in your course that a typical strength coach lacks most? So what do you think that, basically question is this, what do you think that most of the strength coaches lacks and that they will gain with your course?
Oh, this is such a great question, because my course is truly geared towards the personal trainer and strength coach, because we're giving them the tools in how to screen and assess all 6 foundational movement patterns: the squat, the hinge, the lunge, push, pull, and locomotion. So by going through and screening systematically, we can identify red flags that may predispose our athletes or our clients to injuries before they ever happen. And then taking it one step further, we're showing exactly how to assess if we do have red flag issues in the screening process, to really have the full focus being individualized programming. Now, just because you have two soccer players walk in, they're the same height, they're the same weight, they have the same training background, does not mean that they're both going to squat the same. It does not mean they're going to have the same program, and it doesn't mean that they're going to get the same results. We need to be tapering our programming, our screenings, our assessments, and our client and athlete management to the individual in front of us. And what a strength coach is going to get away from this course is exactly how to do that. Each and every one of us is unique. We need to appreciate those unique characteristics that make us us. And if we can do that, that's how we bulletproof against pain and injuries and really get the top optimal performance out of our clients.
Well, that's a really good answer, and I will give you a similar question, just with a different field. So tell me, what do you think the typical professional that works in a therapeutical profession, what do you think they lack most, and what do you think they can learn if they go and listen to your course? Because I also have some people from this field, and they are interested in your course as well, some therapists. So what do you think, where they lack most, and what they can gain from this course?
Well, while I see the trainers and the strength coaches, I see their biggest need being screening and assessments. I see the biggest need for clinicians like physical therapists and doctors, that they need an appreciation for how to properly strength train. That is the big key missing link in rehabilitation today. Yes, we can use corrective exercise, we can use manual modalities, we can get people out of pain, but how do we make sure that they stay resilient and pain-free so they don't get re-injured? Re-injury rates are at all-time highs. So as a rehab clinician or professional, we need to actually start ingraining new movement patterns in. And the best way that we know how to ingrain a new movement pattern into the brain is by actually challenging it through load, through velocity, and trying to rebuild some of these movement patterns. But it all starts with having an appreciation for all 6 of those foundational movement patterns, but also that a squat isn't just a squat. There's many different variations that need to be custom fit to the client and to the patient. So I think having a deeper appreciation for strength being very, very pivotal for long-term development and long-term rehabilitation, that time after time over the last 2 years of giving this course all over the world, that's the biggest thing that the clinicians take away, is having an appreciation for rebuilding the patterns and challenging those patterns.
Great. Okay, can you tell us a bit more about your personal side as a person? So what defined you, what molded you into a person as you are, what shaped you into this open eclectic mind where you were able to think and take from all of the fields and then combine it into a very good content. So what shaped you most? What do you think? Which ideas shaped you most?
Well, I always say that no matter what kind of fitness or health professional you are the sum of all of your life experiences. So everything that you've gone through in your entire life, physically, mentally, emotionally, all that stuff combined together makes you who you are today, not only as a person, but as a professional. I was very lucky early on to live in a household that had strength, that had education. My mom was a college professor. My dad was an athletic director. And I had really good influences early on in the importance of physicality, the importance of education, and kind of combining these two things. But, being a lifelong athlete myself, I've always loved the weight room. I've always found training to be one of the best therapies. I've never been in physical therapy a day in my life as a client. So I think that's a unique proposition that I bring, is that, you know, a lot of what I've gone through as an athlete and as a person, you know, everyone has aches, pains, injuries. I'm no different throughout my sporting career, always banged up with injuries. But the way that I got past those injuries was not by going in and getting ice or getting heat in the physical therapist's office. The way that we got through was rebuilding movement, and that happened with a strength coach, that happened in the gym. So I think that mindset early on, it's stayed with me, you know, a decade plus later. And that's one of these things that, having the opportunities that I've had, training the types of athletes that I've trained, and really managing people back from pain and injuries to be optimally performing again, I see that strength, I see that proper, intelligent, pain-free training. That's the thing that can unlock our truest potential more than any other thing. And I truly believe that. And anyone that comes to this course, by the end of 2 days of me talking about this, they're going to know very, very clearly what I believe in. And that's living a life of pain-free physicality, having self-sufficiency, having physical autonomy. Physical autonomy is a term that I use a lot. It means that we do the right things now to earn the right to be able to do whatever you want to do physically without the repercussions of getting hurt. That is my ultimate goal for any client or any athlete, that they can go out and they can push the limits without having the repercussions of injury.
So yeah, self autonomy, yeah, and self empowerment of a client, something like that, eh?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So John, do you have any good cool tips for either physical therapists or coaches, what they should read to prepare well for your course? Something cool that will illuminate their minds, beside your cool blog, of course.
Well, the number one thing would be over on my website, drjohnrusin.com. We have over 250 articles over there. So if somebody wants to go and deep dive in, you will be very busy reading top-notch content for a long time just over there. The second place where you can really read about a lot of these methods, a lot of these systems, piece by piece, is over on T-Nation, t-nation.com. I have another 250 pieces over there, you know, everywhere between performance training and self-care rehab. And then the last place that people should really check out is bodybuilding.com. I just put out a brand new product over there with bodybuilding.com. I have a lot of really gold standard articles. Some of my newer articles are over there featured. And between those three resources, drjohnrusin.com, T-Nation.com, and bodybuilding.com, everyone's going to have a lot of reading material. But to truly prepare for the course, I think going through one of my programs and having a thought process of why I put together the programming that I do, that's something that a lot of our attendees in the past have had huge amounts of benefit kind of bringing up their education before they attend the course. So my functional hypertrophy training program, it's one of the best-selling programs in our industry today. That thing is gold standard in terms of hardcore pain-free training. I highly recommend that one. And then more from the rehab clinician standpoint, my foundations program is the one that I truly use with clients to rebuild them after injuries or time off from the gym. So if you really want to deep dive in above and beyond the articles, going in and actually using those programs, reading those programs, going through some of the workouts yourself, you're going to have a very, very good indication of what you're getting into with this 2-day course.
Okay, great. So a last question now. I saw on YouTube that you are rehabbing a famous powerlifter, Dave Tate. So tell me a bit about him. How's he doing? How you two met, and what are you doing now with him? Is he getting better or things like that?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, and you say I'm rehabbing Dave Tate. I would say rehab loosely, because essentially I took over all aspects of his programming. So I am truly coaching Dave. Oh. We're not doing any therapy. We are revolutionizing his programming. And the tools that I am using with Dave, I am teaching in this course. So we're going to go through exactly how I put together Dave's 6-phase dynamic warm-up sequence that I use for the rebuilding process to get weak links strengthened. That is going to be an entire 8 hours of this course. We're going to be going through the screening and assessment protocols that I use with Dave as well. Exactly the same ones that I use with a high-profile client in the public sector like Dave. That's what we're going to be teaching. But speaking about Dave, it's funny that you asked, because I am literally getting on a plane tonight and I'm headed out to Columbus, Ohio to go in again and work with Dave. I go out 1 to 2 times every month to go in and rebuild Dave in terms of his programming and actually training him in person. But
wow.
Dave went from in December when we started working together, truly not able to walk down his driveway to get mail without being out of breath, not training at all for 6 months, into last month hitting a 900-pound squat at 4 inches more depth than he's ever had before. And then the next day he was able to walk a 5K with his son in a race. So Dave is doing extremely well, but it's not just about my systems and my programming. I'm not taking all the credit for that. Dave's worked extremely hard. He's been diligent. He's been a good client. And it really goes to show, with the right programming, with the right mindset of training, somebody as banged up as Dave can do world-class things still. And that's really the big theme of not only my website or my course, but everything I do as a fitness professional is to unlock people's potential to do what they've never thought possible again, whether it be coming back after injury or breaking a plateau with the big lifts. It's shattering your expectations of what's possible, but Dave's doing extremely well, and I'm looking forward to seeing him tomorrow.
How is it possible, anyway, in the first place, that such an experienced guy has so many, as you mentioned, so many loopholes in his training regime? Maybe every one of us needs a personal trainer or a guardian angel watching our technique and spotting us. What do you think?
I think so, and not to put down Dave's training programs, because they're great and I learn more from Dave than maybe anyone else. But, he's of the mindset of, I'm going to get as strong as possible, as fast as possible. And the old West Side barbell mindset, they get people stronger than anyone else on earth. But that does come with a cost sometimes. It comes with a cost after 10, 20 years, even 5 years, even 1 year. And again, like I said it before and previously on this podcast, my number one thing is keeping people healthy. My number two thing is performance. Dave, for 20 plus years now, his number one thing has been performance, and staying healthy has not been on the table. So when you have more of that single-minded approach to training, it's easy to have these loopholes sometimes. And, the term I use with Dave is, we have all this low-hanging fruit. And many people have low-hanging fruit. The key is getting a program that's holistic in nature and it's well-rounded enough that we can sustain our health and physicality so we can stay healthy enough to continue to progress. It's very, very important. Some of the best people in the world I've been able to train, some of the best coaches in the world, coaches that are coming out to your facility and doing seminars, I've had the opportunity to train. And everyone sometimes needs a coach, that's for sure. But, second best thing of having a great coach is going in and learning from great coaches and their systems and seminars. That's one of the most powerful things that you could possibly do for your education and for your growth as a professional.
Networking. Well, really, really cool, John. Really, thank you for this. I like this kind of, short but on the point talks. Very, very quickly, but all the important things and illuminating things that you said. So thank you for your talk today, and see you in September in Slovenia.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. You'll get more of me talking in Slovenia because we're doing 2 days, 8-hour days, and we're going to pack it full of content to make it literally one of the best seminars anyone has ever attended. So I look forward to everybody coming out to meeting our attendees and really delivering this pain-free performance training system.
Well, everybody loves your energy, your enthusiasm, and we are just excited and expecting you here already.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And see you soon.
Awesome. It sounded good.